Hey everyone, Brandon here. And in the month of May, I hosted a challenge for you guys to submit your ideas for Mega Pokemon we could possibly see in Pokemon Legends CA, for a chance to have it featured on the channel. So this is that video. So I'm going through and highlighting some of my favorite Megas that I saw from this challenge. And at the end of the video, I'm going to be giving some more information about the challenge I'm hosting in June. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And first up, we have a fantastic start with VCreate Art, who made Mega Baxcalibur. I freaking love this idea so much. Taking the blade out of its back and wielding it is so awesome. Plus, it gets a new ability called Thermal Meltdown, where it has stab for fire-type moves, but loses an eighth of its health each time it uses one. I just adore this concept, having a fire-ice dragon type all at the same time. I mean, with a little bit of a sacrifice on the fire-type end. Baxcalibur had these little things that goes over its hands, and they just really never made sense to me as a design element, but Vic managed to make them look a little bit more cohesive with this design. Also, these steam clouds coming out from the middle of its like fire and ice maw is just so cool and gives that very much like a Mega Charizard X energy to it. Next, also from Vic, is Mega Vivillon. Or is it Vivian? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. I'm just gonna say Vivillon for now, so don't crucify me. Either way, this Mega is just chef's kiss. With Vivillon having so many different forms based on the real-life location that you found it at, this is just such a perfect conglomeration of all those different forms. Also, with basically having a second and third set of butterfly wings on the bottom that come out of these little strands of its wings, is just incredible. Vic did such a fantastic job with these Megas that I literally changed the rules of the video that I had placed on myself. I initially was only going to feature one Mega per artist, but this just convinced me that I needed to do at least two. And it honestly really helped me out because there were so many Megas that I just could not decide between. And we have yet another Mega Vivillon by Zebra Knight 1. This one takes a different approach, which I think is so unique and interesting, in which they take the patterns from the different wings of the Vivillon and make it into a globe, which references Vivillon's pattern wings being from around the globe. It's such an interesting take to use the pattern of the wings to make a map, and also comes together to reference the Titan Atlas. Just a fantastic mixture of concepts that I really enjoy. If you guys are enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And if you're feeling extra generous, make sure to hit that join button. Membership really helps out the channel, and you get benefits like seeing videos early, a shout out at the end of my videos, and the Armage tier directly pays for one Fakemon a month that you're credited for and receive a high quality image of. So make sure to hit that join button and help support this channel even further. Next, from Builder Bob, we have Mega Golurk. I'm a huge Golurk fan, so this automatically made me happy just for having this in the contest. But this form makes it Psychic ground type, and it's like energy that it was fueled off of is kind of like ascending to a new level, and that's why it has the Psychic type. The idea of it like shedding its body and becoming this ethereal being of pure psychic energy, I just love that idea. Yet another Mega from Builder Bob is Mega Garganicle. I love Garganicle. It is literally one of my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon, so it getting a Mega evolution that's Rock Fire type is so cool to me. I like how it has this almost Howl's Moving Castle-esque appeal to it, in my opinion. Keeping up with the ghost types, we have Mega Dust Noir by Mark Fakemon. One small aspect of this design that I just love is that it grew legs. Like, Dust Noir didn't have legs before, but kind of like borrowed the legs from Dusclops in this form. And also this big gaping maw that it has with this like segmented tongue. It's so cool looking. It's Ghost Dark type now, which definitely fits. I just feel like this thing's like a terrifying monster you would not want to be in front of with that when that freaking mouth is open at you. The mouths on its shoulders are also open, so this thing is just like open mouth central. It's like Mega Dust Noir is a mouth breather for sure. Jokes aside, this design really comes together well. And we have yet another Mega Dust Noir from Creative Chaos 28. And if you thought the last one was open mouth central, this one is just a mouth, it's just a mouth. Which I should note has a big glowing eye in the middle of it. This design harkens back to like G-Max Gengar and even Mega Gengar in my mind, while feeling like Haunter and Ghastly all at the same time despite none of that line existing here. This one is also Ghost Dark type, but the category, I know what you were going for, but it's the Gripper Pokemon. I just literally cannot think of anything but like grippers as in feet. The internet has soiled my brain there. Next up from Popley, we have Mega Toadscroll, which is a ground psychic type. I found this to be such an interesting twist because this is a Mega version of a regional fake Pokemon, or convergent Pokemon as the community calls them. And it yet again transforms the concept of what this Pokemon is. Like, it went from a jellyfish to a toadstool to now it's like a UFO mixed with a rocket ship mixed with like an alien. It's crazy. Also, there's like an ink cap mushroom thrown in there as well. Just a hodgepodge of different design inspirations that come together seamlessly. And that's honestly the exact kind of Fakemon I would make, so I just love this. Next up from Raidmon, we have Mega Decidueye, which I just love Decidueye so much that I had to include this. I love how swooshy and how like just like cloud-like its feathers are, and it just almost looks like a dark rain cloud. It just feels very long, flowy, like knowledgeable owl, that kind of ancient wise owl feeling to it, kind of like the owl from Avatar The Last Airbender. I can't remember its name off the top of my head. After that, from MJTJ Arts, we have Mega Sylvalai, and I adore this concept. Taking Sylvalai and making it more Arceus-like through Mega Evolution works so well, and it's just such an intuitive idea. Like, of course, through Mega Evolution would this thing get closer to the thing it was created to replicate, and making it pretty dang close to as strong as Arceus with that 670 BST. After that, from Zavzav, we have Mega Shuckle, and this thing would be a terror. A lot of people commented when I talked about giving Shuckle an evolution that giving it an extra 100 to his BST would be crazy. And Zazav put 100 into the attack stat, so this thing would be bulky as heck with an attack stat that would actually do a good amount of damage. They also suggested giving it Skill Link Rock Blast, which would be insane. Design-wise, I really like how it is just kind of like a cannon, which I feel is a natural evolution to the kind of like holes that are all throughout Shuckle's body. Next, we have a very unique entry with Mega Minior by Puntomons, which, as you can see moving on our screen, it's animated, which is such a unique entry. I love this so much. Like, not only is it of Minior, which is a Pokemon I feel a lot of people forget about, but it's animated, it's moving, look at it! Here's the design not in motion, and it's still such a great design. It's like the eye of a star just in the middle of this like kind of asteroid field. I will say that it branches from Minior quite a bit in its design, but it's so unique and interesting that I had to include it. Next, from Max Fakebun, we have Mega Talonflame. I love this design. I love it so much. It's so freaking cool. It's just so quintessentially Mega Pokemon. I don't know how to describe it. It gives the feeling of Mega Pidgeot while also feeling like its own thing, like this kind of diver bombardier. Oh, whoops. Never mind. I can feel that this Pokemon is just all in on speed. This thing is a speedster, and I love that. Hence its like kind of like goggle-like eyes. Its little tail feathers also kind of feel like Zapdos to me, which I know this is supposed to be like a fire-type bird, but kind of evoking that legendary bird feeling with this Mega. Next up, from Sandwich Jack, we have Mega Swalot, and this I just had to include because it just feels exactly like what a Mega Swalot would be. It's just big, it has a little slight change in its color, which kind of evokes its shiny form. It's got these big, like whisker fists. With the kind of spines along its back, it almost feels like a Paradox Pokemon, but it's perfect. It's literally, once again, quintessential Mega Pokemon. Feels exactly what Mega Swalot would be. After that, from Mod Maniac, we have Mega Genesect, which is insane looking. This thing is the most crazy looking contraption I've seen. It's gone full like technology. It almost feels like Generator Rex or something. It also has these shoulder pads that are kind of like Kyurem, so I'm not sure if there's supposed to be some kind of interaction there, but very much evokes that same kind of feeling. Maybe it's trying to fuse with other Pokemon or something. I don't know. So I just looked, and it's actually just a conglomeration of a bunch of different Pokemon: Kyurem, Keldeo, Reshiram, and Zekrom. It's like a bug, centaur, dragon technology thing. It's an amalgamation of just the most wild things put together, and I just love that. Then from Odd Designs, we have Mega Gothitelle. As they say in the post, Gothitelle is kind of like a Gardevoir equivalent, so like it getting a Mega just kind of makes sense. Plus, I love how top-heavy this design is. I mean, regular Gothitelle is a very bottom-heavy design, but this one just really brings it all up top, which also mirrors Mega Gardevoir really well, considering that is also a very bottom-heavy design. All in all, it's a very perfect Mega for Gothitelle. Keeping up with the girly pops from Apparently Bears, we have Mega Sarina. It's grass ghost type now, and I just love the new fit that it's rocking. I mean, before we had kind of like a poofy skirt and the boot combo with Sarina, but this one, it almost feels like blood red juice is flowing down its waist and onto its arms, which just so fits the ghost type, kind of that allusion to blood without it actually directly being blood because, you know, it's Pokemon, it's a kid's game. And this new elegant crown it's rocking with this long ponytail like vine coming from its head is just so elegant. According to Apparently Bears, they really wanted to focus on the Sar part of its name, so really evoking that Slavic royalty feeling, which I feel it definitely does with the coloration. That kind of muted green and blood red really feels that way to me. And keeping up with that kind of royal theme, we have Mega Aromatease from Mangucon. Taking the original poofiness it had to its design and just kind of Marie Antoinetting it up. This is most definitely the Let Them Eat Cake Pokemon. Here for another girly pop, we have Mega Clefable, which is based on the Sailor Moon Sailor Scouts. This just works so well. The moon-related Pokemon tying in Sailor Moon is just perfect and fits so well on Clefable's design. I mean, look at this. It just feels like a natural evolution of Clefable's already existing design elements. I was so excited about the design, I forgot to talk about the artist. This is by Tathamond or Tathamand. Excuse me if I mispronounced that, but they did some amazing work here. And yet another Mega Clefable comes to us from Kaifun Art. This one is actually Fairy Dragon type, which I think is such an interesting development to Clefable's design. Like the last design, it kind of has that superhero feeling to it while adding in these draconic elements, kind of more like goofy draconic elements, like Dragonite or something. Kaifun also did this Mega Shift Tree, which is another chef's kiss. It just has a full Tengu moment while adding in this autumnal feeling. And its eyebrows almost emulate like a torii, like a Japanese, like those red gates you see. It also kind of reminds me of One Piece, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Next up from Sneck with Hat, we have Mega Mousehold, and this one was just too funny to not include. Just a Mousehold overwhelmed by the amount of children that they have. How they're gonna put food on the table, I don't know. The way they're holding a Chesto Berry to help them with sleep because they have these thick bags under their eyes. They haven't gotten enough sleep. They have too many kids. This is all just a mess. Next from Dan or Dandy Fakemon, we have Mega Carbink. This design is so simple and so effective. I do love this little wisp of like fabric that goes around the design. It adds a nice touch to it, but honestly, I don't even think you need it with all the other elements that are at play in this design. And before people say anything, yes, I know the ribbon is there because Diancie also has ribbons. Like simply changing the base from rocks and crystals to full-on crystal, then adding this kind of flowy, almost feathery, like shouldering that it has to make it feel like kind of like a paladin or knight of some sort. It is quite literally the perfect answer to Mega Diancie. Just so good. Then we have Mega Hisuian Typhlosion from Art with Alfred, which is a design after my own heart, considering we did those Mega regional forms a bit back, with Mega Hisuian Typhlosion being on that list. But I love the different direction that he went with this, kind of turning it almost into like a zombie of flame. It's almost like this ghostly flame is taking over its mind and to do its bidding, whatever that bidding may be. I just love when simple design changes can still tell a story. Also from Art with Alfred, another design after my own heart, Mega Registeel. I just made a Mega Evolutions video, as well as we've had the dual type Regis video, so a natural step in that direction would be Mega Regis. So if you want to see that full video, make sure to leave a comment down below and let me know. Mega Registeel keeps its steel typing, but is based on ferrofluid, so it's got these kind of spikes coming in and out of its body. I really like the idea of ferrofluid being introduced into this design and changing it up just a slight bit. Next, from the Red Dragon nerd who worked with Anartist Astray, we have Mega Corviknight. Taking a Knight Pokemon, Mega evolving it, and then it becomes a King Pokemon. Perfect. While the design itself feels a little bit more complicated, the changes are actually pretty simple. Adding in the gold elements, this kind of extra white frill, and the crown, it's a few simple changes that make all the difference. It harkens back to G-Max Corviknight while still being its own thing. Continuing in our simple yet effective design changes, we have Mega Heliolisk from Ambrose Celeste. It adds a new pattern to its neck frills, kind of turning them into more diamonds than triangles, as well as adds this kind of sun homage to it, like the frill on its back. To me, it feels very much like what Mega Heliolisk might look like. Next from Bizarre Bunny, we have Mega Togekiss. It's fairy dragon type and is meant to emulate the Eon duo. It's so surprising to me that Togekiss and Latios and Latias have never had any kind of connection in the games, considering how similar their designs are. So having this Mega to connect them feels like a natural fit. Also from Bizarre Bunny, we have Mega Scolipede. I'm just a Scolipede fan, so that's why I chose this one. I was just happy to see my boy get some representation. Meanwhile, this is just a super epic design in and of itself. It feels like draconic, but also horse-like. It's so interesting, like a horse bug. It feels like it would be the steed of some kind of Skull Knight or Demon Knight to ride into battle. Next from Fakemon, we have Mega Haxorus. This thing puts the axe in Haxorus, for sure, giving it these giant axe blade cheek appendages. I don't even know what to call them. Every part of this Mega looks like it is sharp and wants to cut you, which is especially nice considering it is the Dragon Steel type now. I also just love the username Fakemon, Fakemon. I just found that funny. Then from Send It Above, we have Mega Druddigon, just fully emulating that kind of European dragon. It very much feels in line with the dragon that's on the Welsh flag. If we had gotten Megas in Galar instead of G-Max, this definitely would have been in there. One slight critique is that I would change the eye to make it look more like Druddigon's eye, because right now it just kind of feels like a completely different Pokemon's eye. Druddigon's eye has that kind of yellow and with the white to it. This is just kind of all yellow and circular rather than the kind of squared yellow eye that Druddigon has. After that, from the Paneo, we have Mega Feraligatr, which is a fighting water type, not a water fighting type. I maybe would flip those around. Not that it really matters in the end, it's all the same. I very much dig the use of red in this design, kind of using the red scales to emulate like boxing gloves, and then adding these extra spikes to the back, which just feels very Feraligatr to me. Next from Nahida Hamed, we have Mega Skarmory, which is a steel dragon type. This is just Mega Skarmory. Can we agree? This is just Mega Skarmory. This is what it's gonna look like. There are just so many simple changes to the design elements of this Pokemon that shift it from bird to dragon, which just feels perfect. After that, we have Mega Cacturne from Feral Dread. This version of Cacturne just kind of feels like a wasteland survivor of sorts, like a cowboy or outlaw, but like in the Fallout kind of way. This is the kind of Cacturne you would see after the nuclear apocalypse, for sure. Next from Just a Folk, we have Mega Yanmega, which is perfect! They knew exactly what I wanted when I said that I wanted a concept for Mega Yanmega, and they freaking delivered. They made it feel like a helicopter without going full helicopter on it, giving it this kind of like helicopter tail and these kind of helicopter arms almost. Its arms, while having helicopters on it, also look like rockets, like jets to help propel it upward, or even propel it forward if it turns its arms backwards. Also from Just a Folk 95, we have Mega Toxicroak. This gives me the feeling of like some kind of supervillain or like an X-Men or something, which I just looked at the inspirations and it is inspired by Wolverine, so that makes sense. Which honestly just makes this design all the better. I love the superhero feeling that it has to it. Like having these kind of like poison sacs on its hands that go into its claws, kind of like having a poison tip claw situation. Also kind of feeling like Vega from Street Fighter. Next from Plubcole, who worked with Trainer Rex, we have Mega Ogerpon. What is there to say about this design that it doesn't say for itself? Just fully leaning into the ogre aesthetic and washing away the kind of cutesy vibe of Ogerpon. Just turning it into the ogre that the citizens of Kitakami thought it was initially. I love that design story for it and just the design in general. Great work. Also from Plubcole and Trainer Rex, we have Mega Chandelure. This design is just so ethereal. Just having all these fiery spirits spewing out of its broken glass mouth and this kind of almost skeletal rib cage coming out from the bottom of it. It very much feels in line with other ghost-type Mega designs like Mega Gengar and Mega Banette. Just a full unleashing of the ghostly might within its body. After that, from Taro Ghost, we have Mega Ditto. This design is such a fun play on the fan theory that Ditto is a failed version of Mewtwo, therefore emulating Mew. So naturally, this Mega is kind of like almost like a bastardization of Mew, while also having elements of Mega Mewtwo Y with this little ring and then kind of the coloration of Mega Mewtwo, or just plain Mewtwo. I don't know why I specifically specified Mega Mewtwo. Then from Towel Fakemon, we have Mega Poltegeist. I love this design so much. I love Poltegeist. Obviously, I made an entire video about Sinistea and Poltegeist of every type. So clearly, when I saw this design, I had to have it in the video. Elevating and growing the kind of teapot that Poltegeist is in, all the while having all these ghastly arms around holding Sinesteas? Are you kidding me? This is just it. This is Mega Poltegeist. Game Freak. Put it in the game. Also from Tell, we have Mega Magmortar, which honestly just looks like what Magmortar should have been in the first place. It really takes away the awkward, clunky parts of Magmortar's design and elevates it to an incredible level. Having the pattern on its chest be the kanji for fire was such a stroke of genius. It's also a fire dark type, which I think is such a good fit onto this design. Also from Towel, we have Mega Rabambi. Towel literally popped off for this challenge, I swear. I quite literally could not decide between these three designs to put them in the video. Mega Rabambi is just so adorable and just literally what I would expect. It's so what I would expect of a Mega Rabambi. Its little scarf growing into kind of like the tails of butterfly or moth wings is just so good, while also making the wings a little bit more full, kind of giving them the two segments to them. And adding these little palm puffs to its wrists and ankles is such a nice touch. Just simple design changes that elevate an already incredible design. Then from J Fakemon-san, we have Mega Cyriledge. Cyriledge was already cool and edgy, pun intended, but this takes the cool and the edge factor and turns it up to 11. It very much feels like a natural progression for Cyriledge to kind of get bigger swords, have a more spiky, armored appearance. I just really need to see Mega Armarouge though, if I'm being honest. Then from Lonk Art, we have Mega Victini. Just look at it. It's become like a psychic fire angel. I love it. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, the design speaks for itself as how cool it is. I mean, you just look at it. And yet another banger from Lonk Art, we have Mega Jirachi. Lonk is really doing those mythical psychic types justice here. I like how Jirachi's body is kind of expanded and then its bottom half is like coming out of a galaxy, but also looks like a dress. It's all very flowy and floaty and spacey, and I just adore it. Those were all from Instagram, so now we're moving on to Twitter with Novablast's Mega Delcatty. Yet again, another one that's just some simple design changes, gave it a second tail, gave it a little additional floof, and then a heart on its head, and it makes all the difference. Plus, honestly, we need to give Delcatty love. Delcatty deserves more love. Speaking of a mon that needs mega love, we have Mega Frostlass from Sir Dualweert. As many comments pointed out in my Megas We Need video, I forgot Frostlass, which Glalie got a mega and Frostlass did not. So for those who commented that, here she is. This is what she'd probably look like. I'm also a huge Frostlass fan, so this is just a great mega design for me personally. Next, we have Mega Clotzer from Boreal Mind, and this one's just funny to me. I think it's good, but it's also just so hilarious just seeing Clotzer with a big old Mega Rayquaza arm. Like, the design philosophy makes sense. Like, Clotzer already has a kind of a draconic cannon arm, but then just evolve that to be the most powerful dragon of all time. I maybe would have made Clotzer blend in with the coloration there, but besides that, I think this is just an amazing and also hilarious design. After that, from Goompy, we have Mega Musharna. We've worked with Goompy before on this channel, and this mega design is perfection. Elevating the amount of smoke Musharna gives off while also making it kind of look like a crystal ball. Gigabrain. Just Gigabrain. I also love the pattern along this thing's body, the kind of eye turning into a crescent moon with almost like a Lunatone look to it because it has that little almost nose poking out. Then we have yet another Mega Poltegeist, this time by Jumpy. What can I say? I'm a sucker for Poltegeist. This design just works so well though, with its lid turning into this big, gaudy, feathery cap. And its facial expression is just so treacherous, which is perfect for Poltegeist. Those were my favorites of the Mega May challenge, but we have yet another challenge in June for me to talk about. All right, announcement time. So the challenge I'm going to be issuing you guys in the month of June is called Regional. You guys can submit your ideas for regional forms as well as regional fakes all throughout the month of June. The challenge ends on June 30th, so submit your designs via Instagram or Twitter using the hashtag RegionalMagic. And those two platforms only. If you can't post there, well, sorry, I got nothing for you. Once again, the entry limit is 3 designs per artist. So go crazy with it, get creative. Regional forms, regional fakes, aka convergent Pokemon. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with. And with that, thank you all to our wonderful members whose names you can see on screen for supporting the channel with their hard-earned money, which you can do as well by hitting that join button. Make sure to check out all the wonderful artists who participated in this challenge. They will be linked in the description down below. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.